For the first time in World Cup history, a team from a small nation now has access to the exact same artificial intelligence analytics as Brazil, France, and England. That's a massive change. FIFA and Lenovo just handed all 48 competing teams in the 2026 World Cup something called Football AI Pro, a generative AI knowledge assistant trained on more than 2,000 football-specific metrics. Think of it like this: 10 years ago, if you were a coach at a wealthy European club, you could afford to hire 6 data scientists to analyze your opponents. A coach in a smaller nation, they couldn't. Now both get the same AI tool for free. This is the world's largest World Cup ever: 16 stadiums, 3 countries across the United States, Canada, and Mexico, and 48 teams competing. But here's what's revolutionary. The technology isn't about giving big nations better tools. It's about making those tools available to everyone equally. Every team gets tactical analysis, player performance insights, opposition scouting, and match preparation data from the same AI brain. That levels the playing field in a way money never could before, and the tournament just kicked off on June 11. So right now, a 50-person federation is running the same analytics engine as one of the planet's richest football nations. The question nobody's asking yet is, does it actually work? Here's where we've been. Elite football clubs have been quietly building data empires for over a decade. Manchester City, Liverpool, Barcelona, they've all spent millions hiring armies of analysts. Real Madrid has entire departments dedicated to extracting insights from player movements, opposition patterns, even referee tendencies. A club like that could afford to scan hours of video footage, run complex statistical models, track thousands of data points at once. But here's the brutal truth nobody talks about. If you're a national team from a smaller country, you don't have that budget. Cameroon, Morocco, Canada, brilliant football nations, they couldn't compete on the analytics front because the cost was prohibitive. You needed millions of dollars just to build that infrastructure. So naturally, the richer nations had an invisible edge. Better information, better preparation, better predictions about what an opponent would do next. This wasn't cheating, it was just money. And in sport, especially at the highest level, information is power. Teams that knew more won more. Meanwhile, the nations that couldn't afford private analytics consultants were flying blind. They'd prepare the same way coaches did 30 years ago, lots of video watching, some spreadsheets, intuition. That was the game before now. Equal talent, unequal tools. But that asymmetry is exactly what's changing right now. So what is Football AI Pro exactly? It's a generative AI system trained on more than 2,000 football-specific metrics. Imagine feeding an AI every pass completion percentage, every set-piece conversion, every player's sprint speed, every defensive positioning pattern across decades of professional football. The system learns to recognize patterns that humans would take months to spot. Now a coach can ask it questions. How does the opposing team's left back behave when they are down by 1 goal with 10 minutes left? What's the best pressing strategy against their midfield 3? Which of our players has the highest chance of scoring against their specific defensive shape? The AI synthesizes all that historical data and gives you an answer in seconds. For a team like England or France, they've always had analysts who could answer those questions eventually. For a team from a smaller nation, they never could. Football AI Pro is trained on the same metrics regardless of which national federation asks the question. So a coach in Costa Rica gets the same analytical depth as a coach in Germany. The tool provides tactical recommendations, injury prediction, player performance forecasting, even opposition scouting briefings. It's like having a PhD sports scientist in your pocket who studied every professional match ever played. And now, every single one of the 48 teams has access to it. That's the equality aspect that's genuinely revolutionary. The tournament literally started 2 days ago, and teams are already running Football AI Pro at full capacity. Here's what that looks like in practice. A coach pulls up the AI system the night before their match. They ask it, what's our best strategy against this team's high press? The AI instantly analyzes that opponent's historical data. Every time they've applied a high press in the past 5 years, what worked against them, what didn't. It shows pressing vulnerabilities. The coach sees that this team's midfield weakens when they press high because their back 4 gets stretched. So the AI recommends a strategy: quick passes up the middle, split the press early. That's not just opinion. That's pattern recognition across thousands of games. Another team uses it for injury prevention. Football AI Pro can predict which players are at higher risk of injury based on their recent workload, their movement patterns, and their historical injury records. A coach might see that their star striker is running at 85% of usual intensity, and the AI flags that as a precursor to a pull. They rest the player one extra day. That one decision could change a tournament. Smaller nations are using it to identify hidden tactical edges they would have completely missed. Cameroon's coaching staff is studying Canada's set-piece defense patterns. Saudi Arabia is mapping out Argentina's pressing triggers. The AI isn't picking winners. It's just making sure everyone has the same information advantage. Now, beyond the Football AI Pro tool, Lenovo's also running something called Digital Stadium Twins. Here's what that means. Before you even open the gates, Lenovo creates a complete digital replica of each of the 16 host stadiums. This isn't a 3D video game model. It's a real-time simulation engine. Imagine a detailed copy of the stadium that mirrors exactly what's happening physically in real time. Crowd is entering from the north entrance. The digital twin shows that flow. A bottleneck forms at security. The simulation catches it instantly. A section is filling faster than expected. The model predicts where people will pile up before it actually happens. This is crowd flow prediction running live. The old way, security staff watch monitors, see a problem, react. By the time they react, people are already jammed. The new way, the digital twin predicts congestion 5 minutes before it happens. Security teams deploy resources preemptively. It's the difference between fighting a fire and preventing the fire. Lenovo has one digital twin for each stadium, so they can watch crowd movements across all 16 venues simultaneously. That's 48,000 people per stadium times 16 stadiums, all being modeled by AI. The system also runs security scenarios. If an incident happens in one section, the simulation models how it spreads, where security needs to respond, which exits to open. It's like running a disaster drill, but in real time with actual data. This is infrastructure that a smaller nation hosting a tournament simply couldn't afford to build. Here's where this gets genuinely interesting. The official 2026 World Cup match ball has an embedded sensor inside it. That sensor transmits positional data 500 times per second. Let that sink in for a moment. 500 per second. In the 2022 World Cup, the ball sent data at maybe 200 times per second. This is 2.5 times more frequent. What does that mean? The tracking system now knows exactly where the ball is at every microsecond. That precision matters for things most fans never think about. Offside calls. The system can measure whether a player's toe was millimeters ahead or behind the last defender. It's micro-precision that eliminates almost all offside controversy, but it also means the ball's trajectory is being tracked with staggering accuracy. The AI can measure the spin rate, the deceleration pattern, whether a pass is going where the player intended. Here's the kicker. Every single piece of this data feeds into Football AI Pro, so when a coach asks the system, how does this team curve their long balls under pressure? The AI has analyzed thousands of curved balls with perfect trajectory data. It knows exactly the angle, the spin, the execution. This is information that simply didn't exist at the level of granularity before. Only the wealthiest clubs with private tracking systems had anything close to this. Now all 48 teams have it, and that fundamentally changes what prediction is possible. So far, we've talked about what the teams see, but what about fans watching from home? Google's embedded its Gemini AI right into the broadcast experience. Live scores appear on your phone's lock screen automatically, no app needed, it's just there. But the broadcast itself is getting AI-enhanced graphics. Real-time player tracking overlays show you exactly where every player is positioned at any moment. If a team executes a complicated tactical change, the broadcast can highlight it with overlays so you actually see what happened instead of just seeing 11 bodies move around. Automated highlight generation means the system knows which moments are actually crucial. It's not just showing you every goal, it's showing you the defensive miscommunication that led to the goal, the crucial pass that set it up, the reaction that tells the story. This sounds simple, but it's a massive change. Old highlights were cut by humans making subjective choices about what was important. New highlights are cut by an AI that's analyzed millions of games and knows statistically what moments matter most. And here's the thing, this technology is being rolled out globally. A fan in Nigeria watching on their phone gets the same broadcast intelligence as a fan in London. The AI generates match visuals in real time. No delay, no manual editing. 3D player avatars are scanned in about 1 second per player. Each team goes through a quick scanning process, and suddenly their exact body shapes are captured. That feeds into the broadcast graphics and also into the performance analytics. So you're seeing a unified experience. The players on screen look exactly like they should, and that same digital model is being used to calculate their performance metrics. It all connects. So here's what this moment actually represents. The 2026 World Cup is the first major sporting tournament where genuine technological equity exists. Smaller nations can't be outthought anymore because thinking is now outsourced to AI that doesn't care about your budget. That changes which teams win. It changes which upsets are possible. A team from a nation that's never qualified before might surprise everyone because they're actually prepared now. That's not a small thing. This is a proving ground. If this works, if smaller nations genuinely compete better because of equal access to analytics, you'll see every major sport rush to copy this model. Wimbledon will want AI-assisted tennis analysis. The Olympics will want digital twins of their venues. The NBA might start supplying every team with the same AI scouting system. Lenovo and FIFA are essentially testing whether equity in data creates equity in competition, and the data so far suggests it does. Teams that have used advanced analytics have performed better over the years. Now imagine if all teams had it. The other thing to watch, does this actually improve the quality of football? Are matches more tactical, more interesting, when both sides understand each other better? Or does it flatten the game because everyone's making the same AI-informed decisions? That's the real story of this tournament. The matches that happen over the next month will tell us whether technology can actually level a playing field, or whether it just changes the nature of the advantage. For now, we are in real time. This is happening right now at 16 stadiums. Follow for daily AI news to see which dark horses emerge.